So with that said, it's still exciting to see an Asian American running for the position.
It is. You know, when I first was offered the opportunity to become city attorney, I remember I had the opportunity to think about it, whether or not I wanted to be the city attorney. And I had an opportunity to talk to my parents about that. And I had a conversation with them. And I could tell when I saw that they could see that their son, who was not even born in this country, could actually be the St. Paul city attorney. I could see the look on their face. They were so proud of their son, but also so proud of this country. And I saw that look, and right then and there I knew that I had to take this job as city attorney, and that was more than 3.5 years ago. And since then, I have just committed everything that I have to being the best city attorney. We've been focused on being innovative, focused on best practices, and really making the city attorney's office a great prosecution office and a public law agency, and that's really what I've been focused on. And I think because of that work, I have a lot of support in the community. I have a lot of support amongst labor unions, police union, fire union, and it's because of the work that I've been doing on a whole host of issues related to public safety and changes in the criminal justice system, and to get really the right outcomes. My philosophy is to work with all of the stakeholders to try to achieve better results in whatever we're doing. You know, a lot of days the criminal justice system is like this assembly line, and everyone is so focused on doing their particular part in that assembly line. We sometimes forget about what kind of car that we're creating at the end of that assembly line and whether or not it works for the individual who's going to drive it. And so that's the leader that I am, and that's the type of county attorney that I want to be, working with people, bringing them together and getting things done, and creating really doing things that we need to do as a prosecution office and also as a criminal justice system, because it has to work for all people.
In your experience over the past few years in the city, and what have you seen and impacted as far as with access issues where you have language or culture or victims' rights or
I think that in America we have such a patchwork quilt of so many different cultures, and that is our strength. But in the criminal justice system, I think it's important that what we do is we do outreach to various communities so that people are connected to our police, they're connected to our prosecution office. We've done a lot of work in community prosecution, where we've done a lot of outreach to the Southeast Asian community and to the Somali community to get communities to understand about some of the laws that we have and to educate women about domestic abuse and a whole host of things that I think where if people in the system reach out to people who the system touches, that's what we need to be doing to make sure that the system is working for all people.
Are there any areas to point out in particular with immigrant communities or new Americans that you tend to find a consistent reoccurrence?
Well, it's always a challenge to be an immigrant in this country. We come here, some as refugees, some by choice, but it's never easy because there's always a language barrier, there's other barriers that exist. And it's really critical that everything that we do as part of the system, whether it's the criminal justice system, whether it's our schools or wherever it might be, that we do everything that we can to do that outreach and to help immigrants succeed. And every day, immigrants have success stories every day, and they're a great part of this community and this country. And I'm proud to be an immigrant, not born in this country, came here when I was 3 years old, and I think that if I could I'm doing good work as a city attorney, and if I can do a good job as county attorney, I think that's going to open more doors for other people behind me.
Well, and I think you just pulled my next question on me. Well, I think one of the difficulties in my position is reporting on controversy where you want to believe the city and the police and the city prosecutors in the state or county are acting in the best faith of the public, and the outcomes sometimes stir a reaction that people don't believe justice has been served. I'm sure that you've probably encountered these situations, and going into as a Ramsey County prosecutor, you might even find more of that with the volume of work. How do you respond to those?
Well, I think those are some of the hardest things to do. we have conversations with people who think that justice has not occurred, or when you are dealing with situations where maybe the public expects a different result. And I think as the county attorney, that's the balance. You have a role to do in terms of what you do as a chief prosecutor, because ultimately the type of cases that you take or move forward with in terms of charging and in taking them to trial, there's an ethical obligation to make sure that you have a likelihood of success to succeed at trial. But at the same time, what we do, all of those decisions that happen in a prosecutor's office, they have to make sense to the broader community. And I think that is always a challenge of an elected county attorney. I think I'm uniquely qualified to do that because I have made those decisions where you exercise the prosecutorial discretion. I have been in a room where we've told victims that maybe we can't prosecute the case because of these things. Those are really, really hard conversations, but it's also something that you want in the county attorney to be able to convey whatever we need to do and have people trust those decisions. And I have a track record of making those decisions, and I believe that the community has a lot of support for my candidacy as Ramsey County Attorney.
Running a campaign must be a whole different ballgame. How are you preparing for this, and how do you want people to maybe get in contact with you and talk to you about the issues?
Well, no candidate can ever do it alone, and you need help and support. So if anybody is interested about the campaign, they can go to www.votejohnchoi.com. It's certainly been a challenge. It's like adding a new layer on your life. I've got a young boy, 15 months old, and then I also have the role as city attorney, which I take very, very seriously. And then on top of that, I'm running for county attorney, which means I got to raise money and I got to get support from people from all over this community. And so that's a very big task, and you can never do it alone. And I'm so blessed to have a lot of people supporting me right now, and I want more, because I think this campaign is really about big ideas and doing the right thing in the criminal justice system.
Thank you very much, Mr. Choi.